I watched the presser yesterday, and he was reading a script. I get it, prepared statement, whatever people want to call it, right? It's fine, whatever. I don't even know where to begin, but I will start with this. I don't believe the entire story. Now, I'm not saying that he directly bet on baseball, but to say that he had no knowledge if this other guy was betting on everything, even though they're together 24/7, 365, they're best friends and they're hanging out. Now he's distancing himself like crazy. They're like retconning their entire relationship. But something doesn't add up. And to me, it's like, does it pass the sniff test? No, it doesn't at all.
Well, I don't think there was anything he could have said yesterday that made us believe him.
No,
is that a thing? Like,
I agree with that.
I don't think there's one thing Shohei could have done yesterday, which, you know what?
Other than like, hey, I knew.
Right. Or if he took questions, but he's not going to give you all the answers because there's an investigation going on. So there's only so much he can say. And I'm sure his lawyer's like, hey, we're going to do the statement. That's all you're going to do. You're not going to take questions because any questions that get asked to you, you're not going to be able to answer them anyway because we got to wait for the court of law. But some of the statements he made, you know, he said his interpreter was stealing money from him and has told lies. And he said, on a personal note, I'm very sad and shocked that someone who I've trusted has done this. Now, this guy Ippei's taking all the heat, right? Several key members of the Dodgers, CEO Stan Kasten, Chief Marketing Officer Lon Rosen, President of Baseball Operations Andrew Friedman, Brandon Goes, Dave Roberts, you name it. They were all in attendance as Shohei spoke. And after he spoke, he went straight to the field and started taking BP. But Shohei, through an interpreter, and the new guy who he has, I never bet on baseball or any other sports or never have asked somebody to do that on my behalf. I've never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports. Up until a couple days ago, I didn't know that this was happening. And Ippei, who came with Otani to the United States more than 6 years ago, became one of his closest friends. Obviously was fired shortly after their game against the Padres. After inquiries surrounding at least $4.5 million in wire transfers sent from Otani's bank account to a Southern California bookmaking operation that is under federal investigation. Later on, Shohei said media members reached out to a representative in my camp inquiring about my potential involvement in his sports betting last weekend and never revealed to me that there was this media inquiry. Shohei later said all of this has been a complete lie about him. Ippei has been telling everybody around that he has been communicating with Shohei on this account to my representatives, to the team. That hasn't been true. So during the team meeting, obviously Ippei was speaking English, but I didn't have a translator by my side. But even with that, I kind of understood what was going on and started to feel there was something amiss. Prior to the meeting, I was told by Ippei, let's talk one-on-one after the meeting in the hotel. So I waited. So up until that team meeting, I didn't know Ippei had a gambling addiction and was in massive debt.
Okay, so right there. Up until that meeting, I didn't know that Ippei had a gambling addiction and was in debt. I am not a gambler. I've done it a few times. I don't consider myself knowledgeable at all. I'm just a novice watching sports, and I have friends who love to gamble. I have lots of them. And I'm watching through my prism and then through their prism how they're consuming games, and it's very apparent to me that the way they gamble has completely psychologically changed them in the way that a drug would. I'm watching the way they are screaming at the television, these possessions, they're living and dying, and then it's to the next game. And this. So where I'm going at with this is, that's not illegal for him to lie about up until that meeting. I didn't know he had a gambling addiction. Somebody transferred the money. I just don't believe him. And not that I care. I don't think he should be suspended. But to say that he didn't know that the guy he spent all this time with had a gambling addiction and was in debt, I just call cap on that.
Well, he later on said it was revealed to me in that meeting that Ippei admitted that he was sending money using my account to the bookmaker. At that moment, obviously, it was an absurd thing that was happening, and I contacted my representatives at that point. When I finally was able to talk to my representatives, that's when my representatives found out Ippei had been lying the whole time, and that's when I began contacting the Dodgers and my lawyers. The Dodgers and the lawyers at that moment found out as well and that they've been lied to. So how does one, I guess my question is, how does one get access to your bank account? He's just your interpreter. How does he have access to your bank account or your funds? How does he just all of a sudden hey, I'm going to have access to millions and millions of dollars. Anna doesn't even have access to my financials. She may know how much I make or what I have saved or whatnot, but she doesn't know what I have she doesn't have access to my financial resources. So how does one just all of a sudden, a guy like Shohei Ohtani who's making millions of dollars and getting direct deposit from the Dodgers, how does Ipe have access to his funds? That's number one. That's my biggest question. Is how does he have access to your dollars?
So my wife and I, and everyone's family is different, right? But my wife and I have a lot of joint accounts, and then she's got a separate account, and then I have a credit card that we use that I can see certain things, she can see certain things, but there are one on each side that neither of us can see. Right? Because of the access. So I don't know if he's an authorized user on certain things, but here's what I would say when it comes to transfers, okay? When you're doing these transfers, because I've done a lot of wire transfers to contractors. Yep. I'm just using my example to contractors. If I give the same amount over and over, or even a large amount over and over, the amount of two-step authentications that have to go down, and my wife would get a phone call. Hey, are you sure you approved this transaction from your joint account?
Or you get a text.
Or something.
You get a text.
There are layers of security. When I'm sending money, I'm like, yeah, that's going to my contractor. I've sent it to him a bunch of times. They're like, well, you've sent a lot of different payments. Are you sure this isn't a redundant payment? Are you sure this isn't suspicious activity? I find it very hard to believe he wasn't aware of something going on with his account.
Well, I mean, you have financial advisors. I'm sure he has a financial advisor.
Agreed.
He has people looking at his money. How does the interpreter have access to your funds? You know,
an autonomous ability to move things.
To do that. No, you can't, because even when I would put funds into gambling sites, I would get the alert. Hey, because offshore accounts, they come up as a different name, not necessarily the gambling site. They come up as a different name. Hey, do you approve of this deposit here?
Exactly.
And I would press Y for yes. Shohei knew that this guy had to have a gambling problem, or he was in on it, and maybe they had a big gamble or an investment that just crashed, and they owe $4.5 million. Now, it also leads to this, and it's a speculation cessation. Give me a buck for that. It makes me wonder now, a question, why he took deferred money, Shohei Ohtani.
Really?
Did he take deferred money now on the back end to say, hey, we're going to have this money. I know I have a gambling problem. Let's just limit my salary to this. Talk about Shohei.
Okay.
Let's defer this money for after my career when I'm done gambling and for my retirement and whatnot. I have no idea.
I hadn't considered that.
I had no idea what's going on, but that's where my head goes.
No, that's why I want to hear
When I start thinking about a gambler saying that a gambler, because I know gamblers who are addicted, and other people have to take over their funds. They have to take over their direct deposits. They have to take a percentage saying, I know you have a gambling problem. I need to make sure that you don't end up broke and homeless, right? So, Shohei, did you take deferred money because you have a gambling problem and you want to save some money on the back end so you don't blow through your fortune? I don't know. I'm just speculating there.
No, but like when you have an estate executor or an executive who's handling someone's finances and things like that, there are ways that they do it to put precautions in place so that this type of stuff doesn't happen, Bonte. Yeah. So that's the thing I see from a lot of people. Well, a lot of people have people controlling their money. Yeah, and there are steps in place that you set up prior to make sure that you can't just steal funds in perpetuity.
Yeah.
And these are large transfers. This wasn't hey, we stole $1 over, 4 years, over and over.
Right.
These were huge transfers.
Huge transfers.
I don't know. The whole thing is very
$4.5 million, man. This is big boy money.
But this is the way I feel like it. And again, I'm pure speculation radio. They're sticking to this story because it provides the least amount of suspension regarding his MLB playing, which fine. I don't even think he should be suspended. You bet on sports, I really don't need. I don't even care. But to your point about shaving and all that's a different question. But if you bet, whatever, I don't care. But there is a legality of wiring money to an illegal bookie.
Well, do you care?
And had they done this in another state, it would have been different.
Do you care? Do people care that Shohei bet? Or if he did bet?
But I find
what
it funny
if he bet on his own team?
I think he's lying.
What if a player bets on his own team to win every game?
See, I'm okay with that.
Is that a bad thing?
No, I'm okay with that. but I'm not a gambler. So
But it's if players start betting on their teams to lose, that's where I think you have the issues come in, and that's where you get like the point
Did
shaving.
Pete Rose do that? Pete Rose bet against his team to lose?
well, that's the
Because he's the manager, he would know.
The big question.
But at that point, you're compromising the integrity of the game, and that's what obviously baseball's trying to avoid here.
So, like Rory McIlroy's dad put bets in Europe on his son to win a major before a certain age. He would always bet on him pre the Open, which is the British Open, but what we call it over here. And like, so to me, I got no problems with that. And I know there were other guys that have bet on themselves. Brooks Koepka, for example, has bet on himself before. And Patrick Reed's talked about betting on himself before. You see this in golf. Phil Mickelson.
Like what if Shohei was betting on himself to hit a home run every game? Or betting on himself to come up with 5 strikeouts as a pitcher?
Does the teammates thing matter to you? So like if you're betting on yourself or against yourself, and you're a solo athlete as opposed to a team athlete, does that matter or not at all?
I don't know. To me, it's kind of wild. Like if Shohei went up there and bet $1 million on him going 0 for 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, does he compromise his at-bats? When you're betting on yourself to go 0 for 3, it's probably not hard to go 0 for 3. You start swinging that stuff outside the zone, and you go 0 for 3. That's a lot more controllable to say going 2 for 4 and hitting the jack.
Or look at what Jonte Porter did. He bets all of his unders, and then 2 minutes in the game says, I got an eye injury. I can't play anymore. So,
which is fascinating.
I mean, I just go as simplistic as this. I'm a pitcher, and I know this guy is a, fastball hitter. I just happen to let one out over the zone.
Right.
Like, it can look exactly this.
I missed the pitch.
Exactly.
I missed the pitch.
Oh, my breaking ball didn't snap. Like, this could go in so many different directions.
I don't know how you regulate this.
I didn't block this guy. I mean, we all have seen the Brett Favre, Michael Strahan play. Like, Brett Favre he took a dive. Brett Favre took a dive there. Am I wrong?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I prefer to believe things are all on the up and up because I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole of speculating what's real and what's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
The funniest part about all this is the amount of people who are pretending to be money experts when it comes to celebrities.
You have no idea.
And athletes. And I'm laughing. I'm giving you my experiences and I'm trying to show you where I'm coming from. And my point of view is I just don't believe the entire story. That's all.
No.